Pastor Alex here. Hey, what's up? What's going on? So I'm doing this video because I wanted to speak on the controversy with Kanye West and Kirk Franklin. I felt I had to speak my mind on this, give some perspective on this, and so there was controversy. The controversy was that a photo was leaked, and the controversy actually came a little different to me than other people actually. So there was a photo leaked of Kanye West and Kirk Franklin in the studio. Everybody went up in arms because how could you do an album or do any kind of work with him? I understand that initial response, as you know, we're gonna see with what my opinion is, but it is my opinion. Although not to be too subjective, I want to talk a little bit about what would be most scriptural or whatever. So people were bashing Kirk Franklin for, having been associated or working with somebody like Kanye West, and it's understandable because of what kind of persona this individual is. Not to say that anybody is beyond redemption, that anybody can be saved anywhere where they are. God can save anybody. But so first of all, I didn't see the picture beforehand. What I did see was his performance on SNL. I was just kind of flipping through TV and I caught that, and it was no representation of the gospel or somebody seeking God. There was a point where Kanye was prostrate on the floor, like as if he were on a cross, while Kirk Franklin was praying. And then at the very end, instead of ending in a solemn note, like I'm trying to do this art or whatever, seeking something, he very jokingly kind of like throwing the whole performance to the floor in terms of, maturity and whatnot. Check out KanyeWest.com. Check it out. And it just didn't strike me as anything that was anybody seeking anything transcendental or anything, supernatural, much less anything Christian. And I spoke with some friends about this, and they were like, it's cool for him to spend time with him. He could influence him. Like, you know what? I couldn't agree with that more. If Kanye West is spending time with Kirk Franklin or any other believer in Jesus Christ, I'm for that, because I believe they'll influence them in a in a positive way. But working with them, it's something very different. And this is something that Kirk Franklin has done in the past. Work with folks who are unbelievers, people who are searching. But I don't know, to work with somebody who is so blatantly, to produce content with something to be in somebody's life, and trying to be influencing them. It's another to produce with them. To produce with them is kind of to endorse the stuff that the work that they put forward. And look, here I have from a couple years ago, some stuff that Kanye had said. There's one paragraph on an article on a previous album of Kanye West says, on graduation, he used Christian rhetoric in different ways. In Stronger, West says, bow in the presence of greatness, because right now thou hast forsaken us. But he's not talking to God. He's talking to the woman he's with, and he himself is the greatness. That is just as crude as it can get. By 808s and Heartbreak in 2008, all the religious illusions are gone. Right around that time, West started talking in interviews about his struggle to reconcile his beliefs with what he perceived as mainstream American Christianity. I don't believe in religion, Kanye West says, and giving it all up to Jesus and stuff like that. I don't believe in that. It was a Vibe magazine interview in 2009. I just believe in God. I would never say that it's in Jesus' hands. It's a sentiment West echoed in a deleted interview with Gossip saying, I believe in Jesus as an icon, but I don't feel the responsibility to put my life on Jesus. Gosh, I don't know. And then to call this new one, The Life of Pablo, a gospel album, goodness, it's beyond. I mean, it's not like what Kirk did was something that you know, that's it. He's out of faith. I would say it's a mistake. He's obviously still a believer, but he made a mistake. That was wrong. I'll still support his music and his future endeavors, but he needs to make better decisions, I think, in the future about whom exactly he works with. Because it's one thing to be trying to reach out to somebody. It's another thing to be associated with and helping endorse somebody who's so blatantly going against the gospel. Listen to what he says about the life of Pablo, Kanye West. When I was sitting in the studio with Kirk Franklin, and we're just going through it, I said, this is a gospel album with a whole lot of cursing on it, but it's still a gospel album. West said in an interview on Big Boy Radio, the gospel according to Ye, as in Kanye. It's not exactly what happened in the Bible, but it's this story idea of Mary Magdalene becoming Mary. So he blatantly says the gospel according to Ye, to Kanye. This isn't anything that's Christian. So I would just say, I don't think he's going to watch this, but what I would say to Kirk Franklin is you got to make better decisions in terms of who you work with. It's one thing to be with somebody and help them in their questions and seeking and etc. It's another thing to produce with them. That kind of means you're endorsing some of the stuff that they're saying and doing and living about, and it's another thing, like I said, to do it with somebody who's not as controversial, who doesn't make statements like the ones that Kanye West says. Like he has songs titled "I Am God" and things like that. So I don't know. It's very blasphemous. So I would say, please, Kirk, pick better. If you're gonna be evangelistic, you gotta pick people that aren't so anti-gospel. You can't help them in their anti-gospel endeavors. So that's just Pastor Alex. Quick thoughts on that. God bless y'all.